Hello, in this video I'm going to be showing you how I edit my sermon videos, and I'm going to be using Genesis Upper Room Church as an example. We're going to be doing the cutting, color grading, and then the audio. And so here we go. I uploaded the sermon video, and the first thing you want to do is just to get an idea of when the actual sermon starts. As you can see, there's a lot of prayer here and there's worship time, so I'm just going to try to find that place where he actually starts speaking. And I'm seeing announcements right now, so I'm going to keep going. Alright, I finally found the starting point of the sermon, and you just want to be careful when you find it. And the reason I knew this is because he actually says the title, or he has an introductory sentence. So I can just find that just based on what he's saying. You just don't want to do the announcements or prayer time or anything like that, or worship. You just want to find the starting point of the sermon. So I'm just going to cut this part. Alright, and then that's the starting point. I'm going to try to find the end now. Alright, I found the ending right here, which is pretty much what he's saying. Sometimes I like to do it before the prayer, and sometimes I like to do it after. It just depends on how much time is left and what is appropriate. For this particular video, he goes into prayer time with a lot of people, so I just cut that part out and just focus on the teaching. So I'm going to cut that. Alright, so now we did the cutting part. Now we're going to do the color grading. And so what we're going to do is just do the color grading by using the presets here that is available. So a couple of tools I use the HDR tool, and then I'm gonna go and find the contrast tool. The crisp contrast is right here. All right, and then we're gonna find vibrancy. I found vibrancy right here. I'm gonna drag that over. All right, so right here I'm gonna go to the HDR tool. Really depends on how much HDR tool you want. I really find that it just helps, makes it more cinematic, and it just helps the highlights. Sometimes I just do 20% or up to 30%. So 20 is good, maybe 25 is good. All right, and then I'm gonna do the crisp contrast. I usually do 10 and below. It's really strong, so I just try to do as low as possible. Sometimes I do even 5, but for this one I'm gonna do 10. Vibrancy, I only go up to like 1.09 or 1.1. And I do protect skin. So it just brushes up the video just a tad bit. All right, so the next one is the audio, which is the most important because we're gonna use this video for audio purposes later. So I just wanna make sure that the audio is good. So I go to the audio section right here. And then what I wanna do is go and find the enhancement. So this is the voiceover enhancement. I just drag that over, go to the audio. I like to do equalization. Sometimes I do voice isolation, but it just kind of muffles the voice, and he has a really good setup right now, so I don't need to do that. Usually I use that for like if there's wind, but he sounds fine. Loudness, you want to be careful with this one. So on the right side you're going to see the meter. You don't want it to pass 0, so I'm just going to play it out and see if it does.
Activation for the gift of prophecy.
Okay, so it's kind of low. It's kind of hovering around 20, minus 20, maybe minus 12. So I'm going to try to increase this volume. Okay, that's a lot better. I can increase a little bit more. But before I do that, I forgot to actually use the plugin. And so there's punchy male, female. Usually I do smooth male. If it's a female, I do smooth female. So I just leave that. Usually I leave it at 50. So let's check again.
I hear the Father speaking tonight, an activation for the gift.
All right, so let me just increase it just a tad bit.
Amen. And I hear the word activation. I hear the Father speaking atmosphere, spirit to enhance, to intensify, says.
As you can see, sometimes the speaker is kind of speaking low, but maybe at the end of the night or the teaching, he might speak louder. So you just want to be careful of the matchup right here. So I'm going to just bump it down because it sounds like he's going to get louder. And you can kind of tell on the audio waves here that if you start to see red, that's really bad. If you start to see yellow, that's like a good caution sign of if it's going to go over and start like getting too much volume. So I'm going to do maybe 7. All right, and that's about it. I'm going to export this to 4K. I just try to do the highest as possible. 4K seems to be enough. So I'm going to export it and then upload it to any of the social media sites that I need to, or the website.